funding and securing 2/3 vote of the legislature. So that'll knock up everything, right?
Yeah.
So,
Since LD 1829 is already law, if this bill doesn't pass with amendments, then we still have to deal with this, right?
Right.
So, yeah, I think we'll have to wait and see. It does give an extension. That bill, the LE 2173 does extend the deadline for complying with this, which is nice. Next slide, please. Some other provisions in LD 1829. It requires that you treat the minimum lot size for a single-family unit and multifamily unit the same. So I don't know if you guys recall a few years ago, LD 2003, which is kind of the first of these sets of bills that usurped municipal zoning authority. It left that loophole in there. 1829 says, no. If you have a minimum lot size for a single-family unit, then that's the same minimum lot size for the duplex or the triplex. You cannot require double or triple the minimum lot size or double or triple the road frontage. It has to be the same standard. So we have a provision in our zoning ordinance that says the opposite, so that would have to go now. Another thing in this,
What happens if we leave that in there,
we can be sued.
but don't enforce it? But why take it out at this point and just, when you come to something like this, then you go to the state law, but leave that in the zoning, because this ain't gonna last.
So
This ain't
I'm
gonna
not gonna
last.
rush to get these LD 1829 ordinance fixes done, because we don't know if they're gonna change some with the bill that's in this session. However, the risk is, if our ordinances don't comply with the state, when we have a developer or an applicant come before the planning board, based on our ordinance, has to deny them. But our ordinance is out of compliance with the state, so then they have to appeal it. So then the town is gonna be spending money on the zoning board of appeals and/or a lawyer to go to court, because they're gonna say, but the state says we can do this and your ordinance is not in compliance with the state. So that's, a pretty big risk to take.
Because the planning board has to go by what the ordinance
Yes.
says.
Okay.
Yeah, unfortunately. Another part of this one, I said before, I don't see that any developer in Waterboro is going to come with a qualified affordable housing development, so it doesn't really matter in my opinion, but we have to allow qualified affordable housing developments to have a 14-foot or 1-story height bonus above our maximum height. So our height limit's 35 feet everywhere, they'd be able to go 14 feet above that.
And the purpose of that is,
It's to help the developer make their affordable development pencil, because they're providing the units at a subsidized cost. The idea is allow them to build more units to offset the cost of subsidizing the rental of those units.
I would think, you're talking a 3-story building.
Mhm.
To go, 35 and 14 would give you 3 stories, but in order to do that, under your handicap, or then you gotta put an elevator in, and I can't picture anybody building that type of a structure for money and wanna put an elevator in that's gonna run your 150,000.
Yeah, I don't think we'll see this kind of development in Waterboro anytime soon. I think there's only been 2 affordable housing developments that have gone in since LD 2003 was instituted, and in the entire state. Right, so I don't see it happening here. Next, please. This bill also changes ADU or accessory dwelling unit, granny apartments, in-law apartments, or other names for them, those requirements. So we can no longer require owner occupancy in either the accessory unit or the primary unit. We have to allow the accessory dwelling unit to be as small as 190 square feet. Our ordinance currently is 400 square feet. And we have to allow them on multifamily residential property as well as single family. That is a provision that's changing slightly with the bill that's in the works this session. Because LE 1829 is open-ended, so you could have a 20-story apartment building in Portland and be granted an ADU for an extra unit essentially, based on how this one's written. But the Fix-It bill, LD 2173, says, no, we only intended for this to be for like duplexes or triplexes.
So you're
for
saying
smaller
that a 12 by 12 storage shed could be considered a structure for somebody to live in?
No, it has to meet, like, all the code standards for a living space.
Like a
But if
tiny,
it's
tiny, it could be a tiny, right?
Yeah, but
I
it
mean-
could be a tiny house.
But 190 square feet is
Tiny, yes.
tiny. I mean,
Yes.
12 by 12 is more than 190 feet, square feet, so.
Okay, so those are the big ones for that bill. The next two bills are there's only one slide per bill, and they're not quite as wild, hopefully. Next, please. So this is the parking bill, LD 427. This bill prohibits municipal parking limitations or parking minimums in growth areas. So we have to change our residential parking requirement to 1 off-street space per unit for our growth area zones, general purpose residential and village. However, a developer can still build more parking if they want to. We just can't require it. And often developers and actually banks, in order to finance the project, if we had like another apartment project come to Waterboro, will only finance it if the parking meets their standard. And so I'm not worried about this one either, because the bank will ultimately determine if they find the parking sufficient or not.
They downsized that too, didn't they? I mean, our parking was 10 by 20.
We have not changed the parking,
The state didn't change it on size-wise.
no,
I thought, the way I read that,
not that I'm aware of.
they downsized it to like a compact car. No?
No, not that I'm aware of. I
Okay.
can look into that though. The other thing we have to do is just enable off-site parking agreements. So basically if an apartment comes in with 12 units and they can satisfy their parking requirement by having an off-site parking agreement within a quarter mile away, we have to enable it. So it doesn't have to be on-site. Next. This is LD 1428, it's about childcare. There's also a bill introduced this session to make slight amendments to this one. But this bill essentially says that everywhere you have residential uses, you have to allow daycare facilities. And we do allow them in most districts already. We have to change it from conditional to primary in all of our zones, since they all allow residential. One thing that the bill that's currently in this session does is put a limit on that, so it makes a size limit for daycares, I think, to 13 children or less. So it's for small, this is intended for small daycares, not like a huge operation. So I anticipate that one will go through and be adopted. So we'll just have to change that for, define it as a smaller use, yes.
They're still gonna have to come to the town to get a permit, though.
Yes, yes,
I
because.
mean, we don't wanna change that only because we went through this years ago. Fire department, rescue, all of that needs to know that there's a daycare or, something in that structure.
Yes, yeah,
And that was the
Every-
only way that we could actually know where they were.
every non-residential use in Waterboro has to come before the planning board for site plan, so. Okay,
And
that,
it really doesn't have to go to the planning board, go to the code enforcement or, something like that, as long as we've got notification in the town, and I'm not saying we as council, but, as long as we've got records in the town to be on record that there's that type of activity going on.
yeah. Okay, anything else? Those are the legislative changes, so when you see the ordinance changes, it will be a lot. In Waterboro, we don't have a lot of wiggle room in what we can or cannot do with regard to this. It's pretty much you have to do this, and so the ordinance language will change to accommodate that. Yeah, any other questions on that piece? Okay, next. Oh,
I
yeah,
do have, but A&R all the way around Ospey Lake, is that gonna create a hardship for us as far as in-law apartments or going from 1 to 3? Is there any way of restricting the shoreland zoning? I
yeah.
know that this was the meant for this when it was up and down the coast of Maine, was to be able to have more
I believe
on the
shoreline
ocean.
zoning is exempt.
But it's also if the lot can sustain it for the septic and
Mhm.
the percentage of that lot size.
Right. Right. Yeah, so shoreline zoning doesn't have to allow the addition. Okay, the second part will be very quick. Basically, now that I'm here full-time and diving very deep into the ordinance very often, and Jason as well, code enforcement officer, we've noticed the need for some housekeeping updates to the zoning ordinance. Examples like incorrect cross-references between sections of the zoning ordinance, the itemization and the primary and conditional uses are not correct in every case, and then in a few different places it talks about how like the zoning and the subdivision ordinances are supposed to interact, but it's slightly different how it talks about those in different places. And so next, so I want to align the ordinance better with what we currently do, and to fix these inconsistencies that cause confusion. So my proposal is to bring some of these housekeeping amendments to the council in the next 3 to 4 months, rather than wait for the 2-year comp plan process. I still want to wait to make any substantial or content amendments to the zoning and subdivision ordinances until after the comp plan is complete, because that's what will guide those changes. But some of these inconsistencies and errors I'd like to take care of sooner rather than later. And so if it's agreeable to you all, I would like to be able to bring those to you guys at some point in the next few months, once I go through and prepare those.
I think it makes a lot of sense.
I'd rather do it all
Yep.
all at once, get the discrepancies over with.
Okay. Awesome. Okay, thank you. That is all I had.
Really?
Yes. I try to be as quick as possible.
22 minutes.
Perfect.
Good, thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks, Mikala.
Oh, actually, I lied.
But wait, there's more.
What, there's one quick thing. We will be sending applicants your way for the comp plan committee, a list of the people who are interested. So just know that, we'll need your appointment of those folks to be on the committee. So that will be happening in,
We're not gonna do interviews, right?
I don't think we need to, unless the council wants to.
I think just a list of names would be sufficient, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
And we'll give those to Laura.
Yes. Okay, thank
Okay.
you.
Any public comment?
Have you had quite a bunch of applications,
Dave?
applicants?
11?
Yeah, that ain't bad.
That's awesome.
I'd like to see you start with 18, because some of them are gonna drop out after, but,
Yeah, I'm hoping we can start with at least 15,
Yeah.
so.
Okay, let's go on to correspondence. We do have the financial reports, and we do have a CMP letter, tree care program. And it goes on and on and on about neighbors and adjacent properties, the public roads and all that good stuff, so. If you need a copy of that, you can pull it out of the packet, agenda item 7B, or you can request it from the town office.
what it actually says is they're, in the next couple of years, gonna be trimming around the town roads, or any private roads, but, they're gonna try to get with the landowner, but if they don't, they still gotta trim around their wires, and, they're gonna do their best to get a hold of the landowner, property owner, but that ain't saying they're going to.
They reserve the right to not
Yeah,
contact the
and
landowner.
They do not have to get a hold of you if it's a state of an emergency,
Right.
trees down, and you're gonna see that in the next 2 or 3 years with all these ash trees out next to the road, because every windstorm, you got a limb or two coming down, and then eventually, them dead trees are gonna come down onto the wires, so
Yep.
you're gonna see a lot of this power outages, and they gotta clean it up, or at least get it off the wires to get by, so.
Okay, reports and staff initiatives, council reports, John, anything?
Nope.
David?
Just real quick, I'd like to comment about the Public Works Garage and how well that's coming along. It's a pretty impressive building, and we should be proud of that, and the manner that it's being built.
Dwayne, anything?
But just to add to it, I think it's coming very, very well, and things are moving very quickly, and I would dare say probably by the end of the summer, we're gonna be inside that building, operating out of it, so. The roof is on, the walls are up, tins on it, and they're pretty close to putting heat inside the building so they can work in there, so. And I was told the other day that the doors are on order and probably will be here within the next week or so, so it's coming very well.
I agree.
Okay, I have nothing, toss it over to you, Matt.
So I think you guys covered the garage. So Jason and his crew took a look at that loader backhoe we talked about the last meeting. We have secured that. I believe it's being delivered tomorrow. Our old one is being picked up by the same company. We were allowed, we got $19,500 for the trade for that machine. So our financing was $50,000. If you haven't noticed, Jason passed along also that the roads have been posted. This is a sure sign of spring coming. I believe it's on the social media site, on website, for public information for the list of the roads as well.
It is.
I do have a packet of information from York County. If anybody is interested in the budget caucus, there's some elected positions and for elected folks in York County and other people at large. So if anybody's interested, that's coming right up.
We do have an opening here in town for that too, I believe. Am I correct?
Well, it's for several towns.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's actually, because of the way it's set up, but District 4, there's 2 vacant positions, one for an elected person and one for public at large. Jonathan Martell is the only one that's in from District 4 for Alfred, Dayton, Limerick, Lyman, Sanford, and Waterboro. Any Lyman folks in here that want to do it? No? I asked earlier.
Well, it hasn't gotta be a selectman or a councilman, it can be anybody from the general
For the public
public,
one, yeah.
to sit on that board for,
For the public seat, right?
yeah.
We have interviews tomorrow. I think we have 6 applicants in the next couple days for the transfer station position. Jason and I have been monitoring the property on Route 5 for the removal of the vehicles. And I know Jason has talked to the salvage guy that, for scrapping of metal. I guess he hauled 9 cars off last week, maybe it was 12, I don't know, did that ballpark. Supposedly, I guess he's pulling from out back, I think he has a lot of cars, but he's making a dent at it at the Lada Auto property up on Route 5. So we'll continue to watch that as we move forward. That's it.
Okay.
Thank you.
New
And
business, we have no news business?
No.
Go ahead.
Thank you to Mikala and Laura for the newsletter that went out today. If you didn't see it, I thought it would look good. It was sent out.
Okay. We have old business, discuss and review potential votes on the FY27 budget. So how do you want to handle this? Want to quickly go through this tonight, or you want to wait until the next meeting?
Can we do part of it, or are we gonna do all of it at
Yeah.
once?
We'll start, okay. General government is up 4.5%, from 633,285 to 661,250. 252. Any problems, concerns?
Well, do you wanna make a motion as we go down through these and approve them as we're going down through with comments from the budget committee?
Yeah, I would move, and entertain a motion to approve general government, item 10,
I'll make a
which
motion at
includes up to line 41.
I'll make a motion of $662,252 out of general government.
Isn't it 661?
661.
Yeah. Oh,
Okay, yeah, I'm in the wrong channel.
Yeah.
661,252. The other one's got another $1,000 in it. That's my motion. 661,252.
Any second?
Second.
Any discussion?
I'm just curious, are we, I noticed our legal fees, 5,600, line 33. We get a decent jump in that. I'm just curious thought process, and I'm not casting any judgment by any means, I'm just asking.
What was your question? I'm sorry.
It seems like we took a good size jump from what was actually kind of spent. I know that we budgeted in 2024 and 2025 /26, 40,000, but actual like spent were considerably down except for 2023 and 2024.
And I think on some years with that, depending on what our legal, any lawsuits or anything we have pending before us,
It's just a good idea.
we've tried to reduce that last year as much as we could. And I think this year we're gonna see an increase because our legal fees have jumped. And I think it's just whatever our exposure is and how many times we reach out to them. We have been utilizing MMA more, or trying to. a little more of a challenge, but I think at one point we were concerned whether that, because right now we're at 265, I think, per hour, with 265 or 275, with Drummond and Woodson, where we were below 200 before.
So,
Gone up almost $100 an
through,
hour. It ain't gonna take long to chew up to some of that.
through the end of February, we've spent $21,475.
This junkyard is,
Yeah,
in the next 6 months, are gonna chew up 10,000
Yeah.
probably
Okay.
And we'll see some of that,
back.
we'll see 6,500 back from the court, what he signed off on at some point. Probably after there'll be a lien on the property, but I
Might
don't know.
not be this year.
I'm fine with it, I was just wondering, that's all.
Yeah.
okay. Any other discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? All right, let's go on to leases and debt service. Item 13, which goes from line 42 to 48. It's up significantly, 47%, but most of that is in,
That is Public Works facility, the new building.
yeah,
So you've got, and Lord, Amber, do you have the numbers right there for the building, for the public to know? It was 80,
Let me go to that second page.
oh, I'm sorry.
Oh.
Garage, I got it right here. So 65, loan B, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah. So on the principal, 65,221, and interest is 191,447.61, and that includes interest from the current year and next year's payment, because we're paying once the bond's
Okay.
done, or the building's complete.
so it's up to 773,567 from 525,722. It's like up 47%, but most of that is in the Public Works garage. So,
For your information, the salt shed is complete. Load of backhoe that we had previously is complete. The extrication tools matured, and the chipper matured as well. And that was $137,111.29 that was paid off this past year. And yeah, nothing new in 27, correct?
Correct.
And then the trackless loader, one of the Silverado trucks we paid for, and the Public Works small dump truck we paid for in FY27. Yes,
This
coming year.
The wheeler must be almost paid for.
I think the wheel is done,
Done.
correct?
Which one?
That's done. Yeah, it's been done, yeah. And just, that payment that you see for the Public Works garage will be lower next year, after next year, because we won't have this extra year of interest.
okay,
I'll make a motion that we accept the leases / debt service for $773,567 budget.
Seconded.
any discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? Insurance benefits. It's up 8%, $1,131,597 from $1,040,014 the year before.
And Laura, you have an adjustment for the property and casualty, correct?
We do, and we actually, because we didn't hear from MMA, or I spoke with them after this had been voted on, and they've given us an idea of how to plan, because we've never known, because we don't get a bill from them until June. So
Really?
it's way too late then.
Yeah.
So they said to basically plan on 5% annually, but for 27 to plan on 8%, because we're in a 3 cycle where they, every 3 years, they reevaluate any large buildings and adjust their rates.
Yeah.
So it's, the increase is not in there now. So the new grand total with the new amount that they've given us would be $1,138,433.
And what's the total for the P and C line?
Just the P and C.
It says currently 74.
Yeah, it's currently 76,255, but if you go 8%, it's gonna be 82,355.
1,138,000.
433. Yep.
I'll make a motion for 1,138,423.
430.
430, okay. That's what I wrote down, and I didn't write it that way.
Happens to all of us, but
I'll second it.
Any further discussion?
Can't do without it, but
no, you can't.
All those in favor?
That covers
Opposed?
line 60, right?
That goes through
Through 60.
line 60. Town clerk. It's only 2% up, 2.2% up, 87,757 versus 85,905 last year. What's your pleasure?
87,757.
Second,
Any discussions? All those in favor? All right. Move on to the tax collector, 80 through 91. So it's 62,722, up 5% from 59,687.
Is there a reason why that's up 5 and the other one's up 2?
We had to add in some training for another member of the team
Okay.
to supervise. We did some training
For the deputy, right?
I mean, you're only talking
What's your pleasure?
a little over $2,000.
I'll make the motion, we accept 62,722 for the tax collector.
Second.
Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Nah,
Okay.
I'm fine.
Dwayne, are you for it?
Yeah,
Okay, thank you.
Treasurer, item 30, which goes from line 92 to 104. Up 5.2%, 90,360 versus 85,883.
I'll make a motion to accept 90,360 for line item 92, treasurer.
I'll second that.
Any discussion? All those in favor? Opposed?
What was the increase on tax collector percentage?
Tax collector,
5.1.
5.1.
and that mostly from the training line.
IT department, item 32, which goes from 105 all the way to 121. Up 7.7%, most of that is contract services. 198,343 versus 184,108. And the contract services is up 16.9%.
make a motion for 198,343. The IT department.
Have a second?
I'll second it.
Any discussion? Are we, gonna do, is this part of,
No, it's
I-
in 95, are you looking for the cable?
right,
I think it's an item that, I think it's in 95,
Franchise me?
ready, yeah.
That's later on at the end.
okay.
That's at the,
Any further discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? Okay, municipal buildings. Item 35 goes from 122, 138, to line item 138. Up minus 27%. It's 110,000 even versus 151 even last year.
What's the reason behind that?
we have carry forward accounts that we're going to just have, we're absorbing into it for next year. So, because we're going to start dissolving some of those carry forward accounts.
So what's the carry forward?
That would be in buildings and in general, primarily. So line 132 and line 135, which they have, hold on. In buildings, like for example, in general, right now, we have 22,892 remaining, and in building, there's 43,257 remaining. And emergency, in line 5976, we're not putting as much into, because we have 88,154.49 in it currently.
Okay,
And that's what we call emergency repair.
any further discussion? All those in favor? Opposed?
We have to make a motion.
I don't know, so we gotta have a motion.
So it appears too that the major difference is in this unclassified emergency funding, essentially,
That's the 5976 line?
between the
Yeah.
budgets, yeah.
Yeah, that's the emergency fund.
Okay.
So it's in carry forward now, and we'll carry it, and then eventually what we'll have to do is we'll just, it'll be there, and we'll have to appropriate those dollars, or just put those budget dollars in.
Yep.
I think it was what, hold on, I'll go back to the sheet here. We had 15,000, so it's gonna put us close to the 100,000.
I'll make a motion for municipal buildings budget of 110,000.
I'll second that.
Any further discussion? All those in favor? Okay. Tax assessor. Line item 40, or line item 139 to 148. And is that the
So-
tax the tax map updates included in the GIS?
That's some,
updates?
between, yes, Sebago GIS work,
Okay,
shared with also code, but just to point out on line 143, I believe it's the same document here, 143 cost file revals, after conversation with Shirley, that we did not include that dollar this next year, just because of the cost of the public works garage and the other costs we were trying to save wherever we could, so we reduced that 25,000, and she was fine with that
okay.
for this year.
So it's 85,000 even versus $80,250 last year, up 6%.
I'll move 85,000 for the tax assessor.
Second that.
Any discussion?
Uh, So, yeah, I got just a question. So in 2024 to 2025, we were at 90,000, almost 91. In 2023 and 2024, we were 98.
I just,
Lines,
you're taking out 25,000.
oh, it's that 25,000 jump.
Yeah.
Sorry, what you said. My bad, Matt. Sorry. Yeah,
Okay?
yeah, sorry.
So for whatever reason, the cells are, they're not frozen here, so I'm looking at like G, trying to see what years it was. Like, when you said it, like, the numbers didn't seem right to me either. I was looking at it quickly. What's wrong with that? That was at 25.
Yep.
Okay?
That would need to vote, Dennis.
Any further discussion?
Nope.
All those in favor?
I'm trying to help you.
45 code enforcement, 149 through 179. Less than 1%. 124, 202 versus 123, 162 last year.
A motion we pass 124, 202 for code enforcement.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor? Okay, overlay, we're not gonna vote on that. Item 50, library, 184 through 217. So it's up 6.5%, 172, 645 versus 162, 132 last year.
And we've added a few additional part-time hours in there for library staff, as you'll see on line 187 permanently.
I'm gonna make a motion for 172,645.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
That was your third time. Dave?
Second.
Yes, second.
Good job.
55 recreation, 218, line item 218 through line item 248. 3.6% up, 456,878 versus last year of 440,892. What's your pleasure?
I'm gonna make a motion that we pass 456,878 for the rec department.
Okay,
Second.
any discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? Planning board. 249, item 60, 249 through 262.
Same budget as last year.
Same budget as last year.
I'll make a motion.
Wait a minute. The $25 fee that we're paying the planning board, I feel should go up. And it probably ought to go up to $30, only because minimum wage has gone up, and they're spending at least 2 hours, and if they don't spend an hour at home studying before the meeting, they got 3 hours invested in every meeting they got. So we should at least match minimum wage on it. Same thing with the ZBA. I mean, these fees have been here for 10 or 12 years, 15 years. I feel the same way with the selectmen's pay. And I brought this up last year and said, let's let it go this year and we'll take care of it next year. So here I am, I'm fighting for planning board, ZBA, and the selectmen's pay, but none of these have gone up in the last 10 to 25 years.
What are you proposing then for the
I'm
salary?
proposing, my thought was, the 3 or 4% that the rest of them was getting, but, planning board and ZBA, probably just jump it to $30, per meeting, so, and at the same time, Mikala, what are we talking, probably 3,500?
It would be, if you were at $30 per meeting, based on what they have at 7 members, it's $5,040.
So we need to go up $2,000.
Yeah, because you're at 3,000 right
Yeah.
now. So 2,000.
So jump it,
And it's possible not all of them.
and,
will
right,
come to every
yeah,
meeting.
so, 5 will more than cover it,
Mhm.
yeah. So jump those figures to, so you're talking
71.
7150.
I think it's a bigger issue, because I don't think $5 is gonna really move it. I think you're still gonna get the same people.
Same people, but I mean, I just don't wanna see it below minimum wage.
Well,
Minimum
wage is
wages.
over $14.
Yeah, I was gonna
So we're
say,
still below
you're
minimum
talking
wage, if
50,
you're counting
yeah.
$3, I mean, you should, if we're gonna do this, we should probably look at it $45 to $50 per meeting.
My thought was if we go up this year, we can still go up, my thought was an percentage, but, talking to Matt, thought we ought to go up the $5, but, it needs, I mean, I talked about it last year and we put it on the back table, so I'm back here again. And it's not gonna come out of the taxpayer because Mikala and whoever, we need to look at these and jump the fees up to match what we're gonna pay the members. So the applicant's gonna pick up the fee, it's not, on the ZBA and the.
So do you want to amend the motion to increase salaries, which is line 252, to $5,000?
Yes,
Because we got a motion in a second, right?
No.
no, I held it off.
Okay.
Yeah, he started to make the motion, I shut him off. I shut him off.
So, I entertain a motion for $71.50.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor? Planning board in general, way up, like 250%. But we now have a town planner,
Yeah, for good reason.
so,
We're operating out of this year because of carry forward funds,
right.
but then that goes away, and then next year is the full budget for it.
So,
I'll make a motion for $163,098.
okay,
I think it's money well spent.
I agree. I'll second.
any further discussion? 163,098 is the vote. All those in favor? Opposed? Okay. Zoning Board of Appeals.
same thing here.
Well,
$30 an hour?
Per meeting.
Per meeting?
Yeah.
Yeah,
so what's that increase?
It's an $800 number because we don't know when the ZBA is gonna meet.
Right. So
I-
let's change it to $30 per meeting,
Probably
And-
keep that 800 the same, right?
yeah, and,
Theoretically, the applicant or people are going to be paying those fees back.
yeah.
So again, we'll change the dollar to 30 and leave the 800.
so,
What did we-
2450 is the,
Well, no, there's a slight problem there. And state law and whatnot has changed the ZBA so that they gotta meet twice. They gotta have 2 meetings now. The first meeting could be lengthy, the second one ain't quite so lengthy, but they've still gotta come back the following week or in 2 weeks to get the findings of fact. This one needs to go and be looked at big time because the findings of fact is being drawn by the town attorney, which is $300 or $400 just to have him draw the findings of fact. If he comes to the meeting or is on the camera, it's an extra 2 or 3 hours of time, so I would say $1,200, move it to $1,200, and then you got it, because they need to be paid for both meetings.
Yeah, but it's, okay, so just 2 meetings, nothing to
2
do with time.
meetings, but, you're doubling your meetings. You may not have any, but,
We're talking meetings going on, hours, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
What if we propose that we take a break on this one? Because I think I'd like to think about this a little more.
okay,
good.
we'll bring that to the,
The
Next
800
meeting.
may cover it, but it may not,
Bring it back next meeting.
yep,
but there's 2 meetings, and that would be the increase, but there again, it should come out of the applicant, not the taxpayer.
Well, I'm also proposing that we take a break
Okay.
from the budget altogether.
Yep,
okay.
I'll second your motion.
All right. So we've got 65, 70, 77, 79, 80, Public Works, 85, General Assistance. All right,
And 95 was the one that it was the catered to.
Yes.
yep,
My idea, my thought was with the selectmen's pay, either 3% for the next 2 or 3 years to get it up to 6 or 6,500, to kind of go along with the other towns that are out there. And I'm not fighting for my own pay, because I don't care if we get paid or not, but, we may not, none of us may not run here again, but, in order to keep somebody here, we got, should be paying the same as some of these other towns, and they're all quite a bit higher than town of Waterboro.
okay. Let's move on. Discuss a vote to accept the FY2025 Audit Report. And all of you
So moved.
the book. Second,
Feel that the help has done a wonderful job this year in working on this audit. They're in very nice shape.
That's an understatement,
And it's,
considering what we have going.
yep.
I'll second it.
A nice feeling.
Any discussion? All those in favor? Okay,
When you look around at the other towns and they're borrowing money to survive, and we haven't done this for a long time, so.
other discuss and vote to accept the minutes of the February 17th meeting.
So moved.
Seconded.
Any discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? Pending decisions, you're all set
Good.
with week's action list. Discussion of agenda items. If anybody wants to put something on the agenda, let me know. We have no items needing signature, and I'd entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Yes, you do,
Yeah.
sorry.
I put my hand up and I didn't say nothing.
Any discussions? All those in favor? Thank you. Good night.